Well, what are the possibilities of one day post-COVID of your traveling as far south as Mississippi to
I would love to. I think I'm writing another book. So the next book I'm coming to Tupelo. I'm going to tell my publicist.
Right.
We love that. Yeah. Oh, we have one more question. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, Miss Lisa.
So Charles, I was interested in the relationship between Lennox and his valet or valet. I think
Yeah.
in Downton Abbey we heard valet. So Downton Abbey kind of awakened us to the English, or me to the English class system and how rigid that was. But Charles seems very enlightened, and his humanity with his dealing with Graham, but still we can't even believe that, that's. So I wondered if you, and I was reading last night, I was trying to reread that, he was a fan of Lincoln and so happy that slavery, was in the Civil War. But I wondered if that was a big thing with you, but
Well, no, it's a great question. I think I wanted that relationship to be especially realistic. So when I say like, oh, I have mistakes in my book, I do a huge amount of research. I think if you write like enough words, you just make mistakes here and there. But so for example, that relationship, I wanted that to be totally founded on possibility. And the biggest employer by far in Victorian London was other people. Almost like a third of the country was in service, and these relationships did have really unusual characteristics, and like it sort of reached a fluorescence in if you've ever read P.G. Wodehouse, where Worcester is just kind of handling, or excuse me, Jeeves is just handling Worcester, and that was sort of like the end point of it. But earlier, Charles Lennox, I wrote in the 3 prequels, he's a young man, and Graham is a young, really bright valet, and they're attracted to each other's friendship, and that kind of relationship really did exist. And I think actually Downton Abbey did a really good job. I loved that show of showing how sometimes that upstairs downstairs line, which was they were so crazy about it, like they were some families especially, I mean, it was just a very strange time. Like they would cover up the legs of pianos so it didn't excite sexual thoughts, which has never been a huge problem for me, but for the Victorians apparently so they were strange. But there would be these friendships, and they never really became relationships usually, or formalized relationships, but that would cross class lines within the home. And so I made sure that was historically founded, and because I wanted Graham to be an important character without being unrealistic. Does that answer what you?
Yes, yes, thank you.
Of course.